do Russians accept my Pakistani husband? Let's talk about it. There was a moment, a very clear memory in my mind when I thought maybe someone who saw us walking together would pick up their phone and call the police just because of the person who was walking next to me. I didn't say anything out loud at that time. I just held his hand even more tightly than before. But the feeling of that quiet moment in the small Russian town when my Pakistani husband walked next to me for the first time in my home country, it is something I will never forget. Do you think it was just because our cultures are different from each other? No, it felt like it was about something more than just that. It looked like the people who saw us were thinking carefully, what is this new thing that we are seeing? It looked like they really wanted to try and understand what was happening. And what happened next? I really didn't think that it would change so much of what I had always understood about my own people and the country where I was born and grew up. Do the people of Russia really accept a man from Pakistan marrying one of their own women? Or are they just being polite and smiling on the outside? But inside their hearts, they are not truly happy about it? I'm going to tell you everything that happened. This is the real story, easy for anyone to understand, full of the feelings that I experienced, and with nothing at all hiding from you. When I made the decision to bring my husband with me to Russia to visit my family and my hometown, I didn't plan any kind of big or special introduction to everyone. We didn't want to make the people in my village feel amazed or surprised by our presence. We simply wanted to have a quiet visit to relax and enjoy the familiar surroundings a little bit and to live in a normal way, just like any other couple for the short time that we wouldn't be there. But deep down, I had a small worry. I didn't know for sure if our relationship, which was between two people from very different part of the world, might feel strange or unusual to the other people in this particular place where I grew up. We arrived in a small town, a village. It is a place where most of the people have known each other and their families for many generations, sometimes even knowing the stories of their great grandparents. It often felt like there was no real need for security cameras on the streets or in the public areas because almost everyone in the town kept an eye out for their neighbors and looked after each other anyway. We had not been in the village for even one full day, not even 24 hours, when a neighbor, an old woman who I had often helped during the very cold winters when I was a younger girl, came to the gate of our house. She didn't say a friendly hello or any kind of greeting to us. She just looked at my husband very, very carefully. Her eyes moved slowly from the top of his head, down his face and his body, all the way to the bottom of his feet, taking in every detail of how he looked. She didn't try at all to hide the fact that she didn't understand who this person was standing next to me. Who is this person? She asked me. Her voice was quiet but direct. I replied in a short and gently voice, "He is my husband." She blinked her eyes 2 times very slowly as if she was thinking about that I had just said. Then she slowly turned her body and walked away from us, back towards her own garden. She didn't say even one single word more to us at that moment. Лиза, тебя не видно на камере. А так? Так тебя видно? Давай. From that moment, I started to notice the way people reacted to us in many different places. And in many different ways. There were the soft and quick looks that people gave us. We walked by them on the street. Their eyes would flick towards us, take in our appearance, and then quickly look away again. There were the quick and sometimes unexpected questions that came from people who had known me for many years but had never shown much personal interact in my life before. Why did you make the choice to marry a man who comes from Pakistan? They would ask me. Isn't a very dangerous place to live over there in Pakistan? Their curiosity often seemed to come from a place of genuine worry for my safety and well-being. Does he tell you what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do? These particular questions sometimes had a small hint of concern or old fashioned ideas behind it. Are you still allowed to wear the kind of clothes that you are really like to wear? These questions sometimes seem to come from people who had certain stereotypes in their minds about women from other countries. And then there was the question that was the most difficult and painful for me to hear. What is going to happen to your children in the future? What culture will they follow? That question hit me very hard, strong, and an unexpected impact. It made me feel as if the children that my husband and I might have one day wouldn't truly belong fully to both of us, but would instead be seen as some kind of confusing mistake or problem because of our different cultural backgrounds. I felt two very different and strong emotions inside me at the same time. On one hand, I am a Russian woman. I love my country, I love the Russian language, and I love the Russian people very much. But on the other hand, very quickly I started to feel like there was a tall and invisible wall standing right in front of me. And my own people, the people I had grown up with, were on the other side of the wall, trying to understand if I was still on one of them, if I still belong to their community and their way of life. And then one evening, as the sun was starting to go down, something happened that I didn't know how to understand at first, and I had never told anyone about it. We were walking back to our house from the small shop in the center of the town. It was already quite dark outside, and the street lights were just starting to come on. Car drove very slowly behind us as we walked along the side of the road. I turned my head, and inside the car were two men who I recognized from the time when I was student in school in this same village. They just look at us, their faces showing no real emotion without saying a single word. Then, after that long moment of just looking, the car slowly drove past and continued down the road. It felt like a warning to me, even though no words were spoken. It was a cold and silent message that I couldn't quite understand the meaning at that time. After these few days, I started to think very deeply about what it truly means to belong to a place, to be a real part of a community of people. I realized that it was not simply about everyone being exactly the same, with the same backgrounds and the same ideas. Instead, it was about finding a space where a difference could be seen and where those differences could be accepted and embraced with kindness and understanding. I began to wonder if my people, they have ability to open their hearts and minds to someone who was different from them. Then, slowly but surely, a gentle shift in the atmosphere began. And one sunny afternoon, the same kind of old neighbor came again, but This time she was carrying something in her hands. It was a small plate and it was covered with a clean white linen cloth. When she got closer, we could see that under the cloth were freshly baked bread, still warm and smelling wonderful of years and home cooking. She offered the plate to us with a soft and gentle smile. She said, I saw him helping your grandmother work in the garden earlier today. He has very kind hands.